Hey, Meryl, it's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Jamie. How are you? Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
yes, you're very welcome. It is an absolute pleasure. I'm doing well as well. So I can't wait for everyone to hear a little bit more about you. And if you don't know Meryl Brandwein yet, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is an RD, LDN, and has been studying food and healing for over 20 years and is a leader in the area of functional and integrative nutrition. Her tenacity and determination to get to the root cause of a client's chronic illness has earned her the nickname the Rebel Dietitian. I love that. She's at the Brandwein Institute for Nutrition and Wellness. Meryl received her degree from the University of Delaware and holds advanced certifications from the Institute of Functional Medicine, Oncology Integrative Certifications, and Food as Medicine for Women. She's also very proud to be one of the only nutritionists in South Florida certified in Genomics and Culinary Genomics. I can't wait to get into that and hear more about that. So next week at Lemon Rebellion on Thursday, the 25th of February, Meryl is going to be talking to us about how genomic nutrition is your crystal ball for better health. So Meryl, that is a very exciting topic. And I can't help thinking about this phrase, you are what you eat. But I know that genomic nutrition goes a step further, right? That it's beyond just what we eat, but that what we eat can either turn on or turn off certain genes that can affect our likelihood of triggering certain diseases. Is that right? Or could you tell us more?
Yes, yes, absolutely. This
Uh-oh, I think we've had a tech issue. Oh, Meryl, I think, oh, I'm sorry. It looks like we had a tech issue. As soon as you started to speak, the screen froze. I wonder if you could pick up
I know, I
where
saw that. Yeah, usually it'll say that it's unstable, but mine didn't. So I don't know.
mine didn't
Anyway,
either. Well, but it was right when you got started. So I think it's pretty easy to just pick up where you were jumping in. Go ahead.
right, right. So what I was saying is that this is a really exciting area of nutrition now because where we used to not have really personal individualized information. I mean, we had labs and all that, but now we don't use it's much more specific and it's not the one size fits all approach. Now with genomic nutrition, we really get insight is into what is going on with your specific blueprint, right? So we can look at so it's not diagnostic, meaning we're not diagnosing and we're not predicting a condition or a disease, but we're really looking at the trajectory. So when we talk about that crystal ball, it really is what is your predisposition for expressing a certain condition, right? So whether it's a cardiovascular condition or blood pressure or the likelihood of cancer developing. We can't predict any of these things, but we can say, well, if your body is not functioning optimally in this and this and this category, it may lead you down this path of where you don't want it to go, right? Where you're and going to end up under ill health rather than wellness and longevity. And so being able to look at these genes that get triggered on or off by it can be by nutrition and lifestyle and behavior and even emotions, right? We know how powerful emotions are, and so we can look at all of that and put you on a different trajectory, right? If you are predisposed to this particular condition, how do we support your health and wellness so that you're not expressing that condition? And that is really, really powerful because clearly we want to use food as medicine. Yes, what goes on the end of your fork is very, very powerful, right? But it's also, so it's not necessarily I always tell people it's not what you're not eating, what you are eating. Sometimes it's what you're not eating, all of the things that you're not eating. So it is a really, really comprehensive and individualized way to look at what specifically works for you, makes a difference for your health, and how we move forward with that.
Wow, that's fascinating. So in what situations would people find themselves where genomic nutrition, understanding their kind of unique profile within that, what kinds of people would really benefit from knowing?
Right. Well, I hate to sound cliche and that it can benefit everyone, but really it can. Because here's the thing. You can have I have people who are sick and who are not feeling well and just are debilitated by a certain condition, autoimmune condition, gut conditions, all kinds of things. And they're coming in and because they want answers about what is at the root cause of this. That's really what functional medicine and functional nutrition is about. It's getting to the root cause. It's not just band-aiding with a supplement or band-aiding with a medication, right? It's no different if you use one or the other in excess. It's not getting to the actual root of the problem. So what we look for is that. And then so the genomics allows us to do that. It allows us to say what particular system may be offline that we can rebalance. So that would be someone who's sick, but then on the other hand, someone who is looking for prevention. Maybe they have a family history of something. Maybe they just want to optimize their health. This is the perfect jumping off point because I always say it is much easier to prevent a condition from happening than treating it once you get it. And I think, if there's one thing that this pandemic has taught us is prevention, right? We talk a lot about that. We hear there are certain things that you can do preventatively. I don't know that as many people are doing them as should, right? But we do know there's a good amount of prevention to stay healthy and, want to live a long life. You can use it in any of those circumstances. So really it is for just about anybody.
That's incredible. And I was just thinking that with the pandemic, I think we're all a lot more conscious and conscientious of how are we living and are we building up our resilience against disease through our lifestyle? Are we making ourselves more vulnerable to getting sick? So I can see how more than ever, this is a relevant topic. And, as you know, Lemon Rebellion is focused on women who have either gone through some sort of major life adversity or life transition recently. That added stress on us, even if it wasn't a health issue, can put us in a more, vulnerable position. So knowing how to take care of our bodies and giving it those extra resources through what we are eating, what we're, putting into our body to give it what it needs so it can be at its best is definitely more relevant than ever in terms of the urgency with which I think we should try to understand this topic and live with as much of it in our lives as possible.
Absolutely.
So Meryl, I know you've also said that one of your goals is to help people think differently about our health and about nutrition. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, part of that really goes back to the idea of we very much live in that diet culture, the diet mentality. I'm either on a diet or I'm off a diet. We really don't focus on what is, we are one connected unit. And when one system is out of balance, another system is for sure going to be out of balance, right? We function in, especially our medical model is very much about this specialist, that specialist, and nobody's talking to each other. And we think of our body like that. But yet the body works as a whole unit, right? So we have the brain and the gut are intertwined, right? There's a direct 2-lane highway there. And so what goes on in the gut affects the brain, and what goes on in the brain, for example, affects the gut. Hormones, stress, all of that, those things are all very much interconnected. And so we've got to look at that from a root cause perspective if we are really going to talk about overall health and get rid of this mentality that I need to be on this diet or that diet, because there's always going to be a new diet, right? And it is a fad. Does that mean it's good for you? And this is where genomics, especially in this area, because we look at metabolism, we look at the kinds of exercise that is really that your body is genetically predisposed to. So if you're that kind of person who's, going all out every day and you're pushing real hard, but yet genetically, that is counterintuitive to what your body wants to do, you'll never see results, right? So it really, the genomics piece allows us to look even deeper at that, but it is really about becoming more connected with what resonates with your body. What do I feel? And what is that mindset? And eating mindfully. I mean, there's so much psychology to eating, right? It's less about the food and it's more about what goes on up here and how do we connect all of that without getting stuck in this mentality of, I need to be on this diet. There's a bazillion books and you go talk to a bazillion people and you'll get a bazillion different answers. So it is really, we've made a very simple topic, the concept of eating, we have made it very difficult and very confusing. Yet for eons, before there were books on diets, we all seem to manage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. And I'm assuming part of what you do is work with people to get back to that simplicity of understanding food from a very basic point of view of nutrition, what goes in, what kind of quality foods, whole foods, I'm assuming, that we can eat that are going to do the best for our system as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
That is awesome. Well, I know that I am now incredibly curious to listen to your whole session next week on, again, Thursday, February 25th, about how genomic nutrition is your crystal ball for better health. And before we close, Meryl, I don't know if there's one juicy morsel of tidbit or advice that you would give to people that are looking to improve their nutrition in general, even if they don't know yet their genomic blueprint. What would be one of the most important things that anyone hearing this message today could do right away to improve their nutrition?
Well, I think, listen, the first thing we need to do is how much of your food is coming out of a box and how much is actually coming from a farm. You know, that is the closer we get to whole food eating and not out of a box and not out of a package, the better off we all will be. So, you know, and really, and connecting the mind body piece, staying in tune to being mindful about eating. We often, I know that was 2 tidbits, but I think they're so connected, because we need to not just make sure we're eating food that nourishes our body, but how are we nourishing our body with our mind as well? And so that's really important, and paying attention to just not mindlessly eating. So.
I love it. I love it, Meryl. That is awesome. So many people need to hear this message, and I'm really excited to have you share it next week with everyone. So if you haven't signed up yet, go to lemonrebellion.com and you can register. It's free to show up to the live event next Thursday. You can hear Meryl talk more about this incredible topic about genomic nutrition, how it can be a crystal ball for better health. So thanks again, Meryl, for your time.
Thank you. So excited to be participating and in this wonderful event. So thank you, Jamie.
Wonderful. My pleasure. See you. Bye.
Bye.